Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel World of Wrestling, here today to discuss about Impact Wrestling August 19th, 2021 review. This show is actually pretty damn decent. I actually enjoyed the show from top to bottom. It flowed very well. There was some entertaining stuff here. Some good matches, some good segments as well. So overall, I was really impressed how Impact Wrestling was, because lately it's been kind of below average in my opinion. Not too many things occurred on the shows the last couple of weeks I've found entertaining at all. So kudos to them for producing a good show here. First thing that took place was they were supposed to introduce Christian Cage after he won the Impact World Championship from August 13th's Rampage episode from Kenny Omega. So they're trying to introduce him, but W. Morsley attacks Eddie Edwards, and he pretty much beats the shit out of him, and then Sami Callihan comes to his rescue, and they both attack W. Morsley. Supposedly, Sami Callihan is supposed to have a tag team match with Chris Sabin against Ace Austin, and Moose. This match was actually a pretty good way to start off the show. I actually enjoyed this match very much. Chris Sabin and Sami Callihan ended up winning this match, but Chris Sabin didn't really work as a team with Sami Callihan. He tagged himself in when Sami Callihan actually had the opportunity to get the victory for his team, and Chris Sabin just tagged himself in, hit the cradle shock, and got the 1, 2, 3. Looks like a little more of a heelish or selfish move on his part. He ate a Death Machine pile driver, and that was pretty much that. Following that, we see footage of New Japan Wrestling Resurgence when Guerrillas of Destiny showed up to confront the Good Brothers Anderson and Gallows, and they got out of Dodge at that point for this. In a backstage promo, they quickly move on from that to talk about tonight. Gallows is in a match with Joe Doring, and he's more than ready, is what he says. Sami Callihan wants a number one contender match between himself, Moose, Ace Austin, and Chris Sabin, and the winner will face either Christian Cage or Brian Myers. He says everyone should thank him for getting rid of Kenny Omega because he was the one chipping away at him each week. Eddie Edwards comes in and tells him just because they teamed once doesn't mean he can come help him out. Callihan, again, isn't happy that no one is showing him the respect he deserves, which I think is a little disrespectful to him, because he could have easily just cranked him in the fucking face with a baseball bat in the middle of that segment in the beginning of the show. So I don't know why the hell he would be getting upset with Sami Callihan when he's showing him a lot of respect. And they were once enemies, and Sami Callihan seems to be turning over a new leaf. He's still the same Sami Callihan, but he's not a fucking prick to decent people like Eddie Edwards, who now seems to be a little much of a prick to him just because of their past. Not that he should forget, because what Sami Callihan did was unthinkable. But it was an accident, number one. That was when he tried to take a baseball bat and hit the chair into his face, and instead he missed the chair and accidentally hits Eddie Edwards directly in the eye with a baseball bat, which made his eyeball swell up. He couldn't even see. So that left kind of a... Really, Eddie Edwards is having issues with trusting him, which is understandable, but at the same time, he's not really doing anything wrong except being, fair to the guy. So, whatever. Matt Cardona has a match with Shirai. This match wasn't that bad at all. Shirai's not exactly my biggest fan. I'm not his biggest fan in the world. But to be quite frank with you, Shirai didn't do too bad in this match with Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona, since he's got to Impact Wrestling, he has really shined. I mean, he has done some really good stuff here in this promotion, and honestly, I could definitely see him becoming a world champion at some point later on this year, possibly at Bound for Glory. The person I think should win the Fatal 4-Way match should be Moose, and then Moose should take the title off of Christian Cage. That's what I think should happen, and I think that's probably what is going to happen anyway, because Sami Callihan's already had his shot. He blew it against Kenny Omega, and Moose got screwed out of his world championship match with Kenny Omega. So what better way of fixing that issue by giving Moose the #1 contendership win and then having him win the world title from Christian Cage, ultimately to pass the title on to Matt Cardona at Bound for Glory. I think that would be a great match, actually. Matt Cardona versus Moose. I think those two guys would be able to produce a good main event to that pay-per-view. Only time will tell, though. They got plenty of time to go ahead and get that squared away for 2 or 3 more months. So we'll just see what happens. But I don't know if it's going to happen 100%. We could be seeing Moose face Christian Cage at Bound for Glory, for all we know. And then Matt Cardona could possibly win the championship at Hard to Kill, possibly in January of next year. So only time will tell in that situation. But that's how I kind of see this projection going with the title changing hands. So we'll just have to keep an eye out for that as it goes along. Madison Rayne had locker room talk. This was a fucking wasted out load of bullshit. Did not care for this whatsoever. Johnny Swinger was actually involved with this with Caleb with a K. This was fucking stupid. Waste of time. That was the only real bad spot I had with that with this show. Outside of that, it wasn't that bad of a show. Josh Alexander is more than ready for Jake something and to become the face of this company. Christian Cage is a legend in this business, but it doesn't mean he's going to carry the Impact banner in the future. He doesn't care how tough Jake something is. He isn't concerned. Jake gets in his face and tells him he should be before he walks off to find Scott D'Amore. Caleb is also there asking for a match, and he says he's clinically cleared by the doctors that he could actually wrestle. So Jake something is requesting a match, and Scott D'Amore looks at him and goes, "Oh, okay, well, I actually got somebody who might be clinically cleared, so good. Have a match with Caleb with a K and enjoy yourself." And apparently the match was a no-holds-barred match because there was a table added into the mix. So that actually did happen. Jake something put Caleb with a K through a table with a spear, and probably a better spear than what Goldberg's been producing lately. I think anybody can produce a better spear than what Goldberg's been doing lately. He's been shit. I don't even know why the fuck he keeps coming back. He's pathetic. Can't even have a 7-minute match without having to gas out or freaking screw up on his moves. He never used to do that shit before when he was in his prime, I'll tell you that much. Alright, next thing was Christian Cage return to Impact Wrestling. This was a nice moment. Christian Cage talked a lot about the history he had with Impact Wrestling when it was called TNA. He said at one point in time he was with a very large promotion. He decided since he wasn't getting the kind of push he was looking for, and he didn't feel he was getting the respect he deserved, he felt it was time for him to move on and take a chance on himself, and TNA felt the same way about him. They were going to take a chance with him. He won several championship reigns with the NWA Championship in TNA, and he was there for about 6 years, I believe. No, not 6 years. He was there in 2005. And he worked all the way up until 2008. So he was there for about 3 years. 3 years total. He had some nice memories there. He did some good stuff there, and it helped elevate his name as a in-ring professional wrestler. So he went back to WWE, of course. You know the whole history lesson on that. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to reiterate every little aspect that he did in WWE. Yeah, he is carrying both the TNA World Championship and the Impact World title. He goes ahead and he says he talked to the Scott D'Amore and the officials of Impact Wrestling, and they decided that they were going to retire the TNA Championship since there's only one championship needed to be declared the World Heavyweight Champion. So the title is now discontinued. It is retired. We are no longer seeing the TNA World Championship, which I absolutely hate. I love that belt. Impact Wrestling World Championship, not too much of a fan of, but I guess I'll have to get used to it and just deal with it. But Brian Myers comes to the ring after the announcement was made that the TNA World Championship was retired. He went ahead and he said, "Look, I'm a professional wrestler. I am the future. You are the past. I plan at Emergence to win the the Impact World Championship from you and become a world champ." Highly doubt that actually took place at Emergence on August 20th, but I will review that event on Thursday, so I will try my best to be able to go ahead and do that review with you guys. If I don't, I do apologize. Like I said last week, I was possibly going to be able to do it, but there was no guarantee. I've also seen that there's a couple of Ring of Honor pay-per-view events that took place, one of which I didn't even review, and I said I would from the July 11th pay-per-view for Best in the World. I didn't actually get that done. I never even watched it. Then they had two pay-per-view events that took place on August 20th and August 21st, which actually it's Glory by Dishonor, Glory by Honor or some shit like that. They had night 1 and night 2. May check those out, but I'm not going to review them. There's a lot of content to just go over. I'm just going to watch it just to keep up with some stuff because there will be a pay-per-view September 12th. Death Before Dishonor. That is actually taking place on September 12th, a week after All Out. So I may give you guys an uploaded video review on that. I won't be going live for that because it's not like one of the top tier promotions in pro wrestling. So I'm not going to bother with doing those. But yeah, you guys will get a review on that at least. As long as I have the time to do so, which I don't see why I won't. There won't be nothing else going on during September 12th. So I'll take the time to watch that event and give you guys that review. But yeah, Brian Myers pretty much goes ahead and he says, I plan on going ahead and winning the World Championship and leading Impact Wrestling into the future and finally claim that I am the professional wrestler that I am. And that's pretty much what I got from that promo overall. Next match after that was Melina versus Brandy Lauren. Brandy Lauren actually was not that bad in this match. For as short of a match it was. Melina did good. She wasn't bad. They kept advertising NWA Empower and NWA 73, which is the 73 years of NWA Pro Wrestling. I'm not going to be catching those two events at all. No fucking way. Sorry. Not happening. They're $24.99 each combined on Fight TV. It costs $39.99 for a bundle. I'm not watching that shit and I'm not wasting my money on it. I got too much wrestling on my plate and I'm just one person. If I had multiple people on this channel working with me, I could definitely get that covered with some other people covering those areas of pro wrestling, but unfortunately I don't have that and I'm not Fightful. Fightful does that kind of stuff. They have multiple people working on different promotions, and I'm just one person. So, be a little bit easy on me, guys. I'm just one guy, and I only have 184 subscribers. So, I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to kill myself for this shit. I'm doing it as a hobby. I hope that you guys enjoy the content that I'm providing. So, that is the end of that scenario. But Melina wins the match by submission. She pulls off a victory with a really good submission hold. After the match is over, Deonna Purrazzo attacks Melina from behind. Matt Renwalt goes ahead and comes out to help Purrazzo, but Trey Miguel is here to make the save. He and Melina hold the ring as Purrazzo holds her title up high, and that's pretty much that. We do see a promo, or not a promo, but a video package of the highlights of what took place with Deonna Purrazzo at AAA Mania. I tell you what, AAA Wrestling, they actually can be in they're actually in a really good venue. Based on that one event I saw, that was pretty impressive. They had a big arena that they were performing at. I would love to see AEW in Mexico. I think that would be, for that venue alone, I think that would be an awesome place for AEW to try to go to. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. AAA Mania. See what that arena looks like, because it is huge. It looks like it can contain probably looked as big as the United Center, to be quite frank with you. United Center got sold out by AEW, so if they can sell out in Chicago, I can imagine AEW could probably sell out in Mexico. Maybe not. Who knows? But I think they would. I think they could definitely pull that off. All right, next thing that took place was a no disqualification match with Jake Something against Caleb with a K. I already mentioned this. Jake Something won by a spearing Caleb through a table, and that was that. Nothing special took place there. Obvious squash match. Su Yung is holding a lock of Kiera Hogan's blue hair, and Kimberly calls her mother and says they have a new soul, but it won't be the last. Big fucking whoop-de-doo. Feel like I'm watching Alexa Bliss's character with a very dark, sinister-like, act upon it of what Alexa Bliss is doing. Alexa Bliss is not really that dark or sinister compared to what Su Yung and Kimberly are doing. So Doc Gallows goes up against Joe Doyling in the main event, and Joe Doyling wins the match with a lariat to a flying gallows, and that's pretty much it. He really clotheslined his ass big time at the end of this match. This match wasn't that bad. Two behemoths going at it in the middle of the main event, and it wasn't a bad match. It was just to establish momentum going into Emergence for the triple threat tag team title match with the Rich Swann and Willie Mack against the Good Brothers and Violent by Design. Now, technically, some people would say, well, you can't have the champion lose in a match going into a pay-per-view where they're going to be defending their championships. Well, this was a singles competition. This is over tag team gold. So if you really want to get technical, I would give it a pass in this situation just for this one time. It's not like Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson are losing every single week as champion while they're in non-title matches. And this was a singles match, so I mean, it wasn't like they were doing anything wrong here. This was just a good old-fashioned barn burner of a match between two large guys just killing each other before a pay-per-view, which was the next day after that. So, I mean, I don't really have any major complaints about it. If you guys disagree with the idea that the champion lost here, I totally understand, because that's the concept that you should have about a champion in a non-title match. But let's be real, these guys are tag team champions in a singles match, and it was just a one-time only thing that this occurred. So we haven't seen the tag team champions really lose in singles competition. If you remember correctly, I went over Jay White and Chris Bay tag teaming against the Good Brothers, and the Good Brothers won that match in a non-title match. So, with that being said, they're not exactly being buried or mistreating the championship. So that's my explanation to why I feel that Doc Gallows losing is not really a distasteful or devaluing the tag team championship belts. That's just my reasoning behind it. If you guys disagree still, I mean, I totally understand on that, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys thought of the show if you happen to watch it. Hit the like button if you liked the video, and of course, as always, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe now. I'm always uploading videos every single day and every single week. So keep an eye out for any uploads that you might be interested in. My next upload will be for AEW Dynamite August 25th, 2021 review. So keep an eye out for that. I will, if possible, do Emergence on Thursday night. If I can't, I apologize if you guys are interested. If not, I mean, hey, nobody lost here. And then Friday night is SmackDown, of course, and Rampage. Rampage I will be doing first. If I happen to not be able to do SmackDown the same night, I will do SmackDown the next day and give you guys my review on that. SmackDown last week I didn't do because it was a go-home show, and from what I've heard from other people, it wasn't much of anything but bullshit anyhow. I'm sure this week's episode will be no different. So at this time, I thank you again for watching. Hope you have a great night, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Bye.